Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today we're going to be talking about the Valorant Masters in Iceland. I'm just going to say Iceland. I don't know how you say that. Reykjavik? I think it's Reykjavik. If I remember correctly, I think it is Reykjavik. So Masters 2 in Reykjavik, Iceland. It's just ended and it ended with a Sentinels victory. Yes, Sentinels, the NA team, has dominated um, Masters, beating out Fnatic twice and knocking out EU. So before we get to grand final and talk about this whole shit, let's first talk about the upper bracket final. So let's just all start at the beginning in the upper bracket play-in. So first it was Fnatic versus Crew Esports. Now obviously I wasn't able to watch any of these matches live, so just a little bit of a warning. I may obviously forget some things because I watched the highlights in some of them. So just to be warned. So Fnatic versus Crew Esports. This was kind of just an easy victory for Fnatic. Dirk especially popped the hell off in the match, so that was a great job by them. And version 1 versus Crazy Raccoon. I feel like Crazy Raccoon were definitely dark horses coming in, including with X10. But obviously I could tell here they didn't really go too well. So yeah, that was and obviously Zealous and James. Those two were great players for V1. For the upper bracket round one, because that was actually first, and then we went down to the lower bracket. Sentinels beat out Fnatic 2-0. It was very close, but Tens obviously getting MVP did very well. Team Vikings versus X10. Now I was expecting like X10 to actually maybe get a map off Team Vikings, but it was still very close anyways. I think Patty Fed definitely carried them, I'll be honest. But Sassy, obviously, I think definitely a very standout player for Vikings. This was the match that everyone was watching. Team Liquid versus Version 1, and it was possibly the closest match in in the Masters. Team Liquid fighting for their life, almost losing split, and then they lost the next two maps. This was also the time when everyone in North America started shitting on Europe. I will be showing you one video that I found pretty funny, but Penny obviously popped off those great. His crazy headshots were so insane as well. Let's just not talk about was it who was a Soulcast? It was Soulcast, right? Yeah, Soulcast. We want to talk about Soulcast as a little bit of a throw that he did against, I think it was Yamis, or was it Zealous? No, actually no, I think it was actually Vanity, I can't remember. It was one of those three. But we won't talk about it, I'll be honest, we'll gloss over it. It happened in Haven. You can watch it yourself, but it was a bit of a kind of like a knucklehead move, and it was very European of them. And then Newton versus Sharks Esports. I can also see I also saw a trend here for Newton that every match that they played, they either got a map off. Well, they most likely, they mainly let the enemy team to get a map off, and they will just win. Mostly in the low bracket finals, didn't really work out, but it's kind of a trend there for Newton. So Newton weren't really that dominant as everyone was kind of expecting. So bit of a letback for Korea, but they did verse up against Sharks Esports who were pretty good. I'm trying to remember. I think Denaro and Gabix it was mainly Gabex and Pros that they definitely they showed up. Next up for the lower bracket round one, X10 Esports won against Crazy Raccoon. I wasn't really surprised when I saw this because I knew how good Patty Fan was, so I wasn't really that surprised. However, this one surprised me. I think this was like the only big upset I'm gonna guess. Crew actually no, there'll probably a couple more. Crew Esports winning against Sharks Esports. So this basically either means that Crew Esports is better than a Brazilian team, or Sharks Esports underperformed massively. Because they did put up a pretty good fight against Newton, right? But Crew is a Latin American team, a very, I guess, a very unwell-known team. And I'll be honest, I was expecting Nags to get MVP, but it says Maximo, so I was a bit surprised there. But I think Maximo also played very, very well. I'm just very surprised at how badly Sharks Esports lost as well. 13-5 and 13-6 in Icebox and Bind. Oh, that's not that great for him. Fnatic obviously winning against X10 are really of a big surprise there. I just want to say a big shout out to Boaster and Pattyfair with their fucking entrances. Oh, that was beautiful. Team Liquid winning against Crew Esports, not that surprising as well. Scream obviously popping off. For the upper bracket round 2, we got Sentinels winning against Team Vikings very convincingly, obviously Tens. Popping off obviously, there was like Shazam and Dapper. And then Newturn winning against version 1, 2-1. It was still a very, very close match, especially in a center split, basically fighting for their lives with V1. So so then you can definitely come to the conclusion that V1, their their run was not a fluke. It was pure talent. I think Lakia was it Lakia or was it Solo? I think it was Solo also said that he's gonna retire after this one as well. So good luck to Solo. Lakia also played really really well. I think was it Lakia? I think it was Lakia, but he in Haven he did this thing where he used the Odin, but in the like when it sewers, and he shot through the into his side, which I thought was really interesting. But apparently Sinatra did it as well before everyone, but I don't know. So now for the lower bracket round 3. Fnatic winning against V1, not that surprising there. However, it was very very close in Icebox, and Ascent they kind of just fell off. And Team Liquid winning against Team Vikings. Yeah, not that surprised as well. Now for the lower bracket round 4, it was against the two European teams, and Fnatic won against Team Liquid, which I was very very surprised about. I was expecting Liquid to, um, just to win it, but it was Fnatic because I was hoping for a Liquid Sentinels Grand Final. I'll be honest, just to see who is really the best team in the world. But Fnatic did win, and well, first Sentinels won against Newton. It was a crushing victory for Sentinels. As Newton was sent packing. So he's sick on MVP, but just like I said, all the Sentinels players that played amazingly. Fnatic winning against Newton basically ended their run in Reykjavik. Yeah, Reykjavik. There we go. And then in the grand final, it was Sentinels a 3-0 just to end it. But it was a very close match anyway. 14-12, 16-14, and 13-11. It did went to overtime, in Bind especially. So I think also split as well. I think that also went to overtime. So I'm not that. I think it's great, obviously, that it was a close match, even though the score was a 3-0, it was still a very very close match. So, um, good job by Fnatic to also play really really well. So it was almost a complete low bracket run, but it wasn't enough to beat out Sentinels, who obviously won, obviously won the Masters and the first, which means they also won the first ever land event against all these other regions. So NA, I guess NA is the best Valorant region, I guess, followed by Europe and probably Korea. Then I'll say maybe Brazil, APAC, Latin America, and Japan. But obviously, I don't really know. Which also means I think for Sentinels, they have now locked their ways into champions. So they've automatically qualified for champions. Look at that. Straight away. So and if they keep just getting all these points, I can't wait. I can't yeah, look, I can't wait for the next LAN event, which is gonna be in Berlin. That'll be the Masters 3. And speaking of Masters 3, I don't know when that's actually gonna be starting. Well, actually the Challengers Finals 3, sorry. I don't know when that's gonna be starting, but I'll say around I'll say, I don't know, around June or July. Just depends on also when this is live. So that'll be 9 September. So around maybe August or even July. So let's just have a look at the others in this as well. Fnatic even in the lead with 350 points. Then 250 followed behind them is Team Liquid. Those two teams were obviously um, in LAN. Brazil, Team Vikings in the lead with 300 points. Sharks Esports was 170. Japan, Crazy Raccoon with 250. Absolute Jupiter with 130. Korea, Newturn with 370 with Vision Strikers and 140. And APAC, X10 with 275 and 4 cents with 80. In Latin America, Crew Esports with 220 and 6 Karma with 150. So I guess we'll talk about a little bit on the roster changes that's really been happening. Mainly by E United, who have now been disbanded. TNL Esports make some changes, added Hate and get rid of Harry and Rezi, I think. Other side Esports also make some changes as well. CP2 now leaves Renegades, and Fox Gaming, Calvara has now been inactive. Rumors, mainly OG and TSM. TSM has made some changes. Brax is going to be benched, while Bang is going to be joining. Fizzy and Sheard, or Shed, sorry, or Shad, I don't know. They're going to be joining OG just to replace AKM, AKM Element, well, yeah, Element and Onibai. Nature's also joined Gen G. Trying to have a look here. Shet has joined TSM as the head coach. NRG, Josh RT has joined them as a coach as well. Ninja Pajamas is gonna make some changes. Well, actually, a lot of European teams are actually gonna make some changes. So that's gonna be very interesting, including G2. That's gonna be some interesting changes there, and hopefully it does come to true. So that's it for me now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Catch you guys on next time in the next one. Goodbye.